There's going to be a new doubles format coming to the next Masters 1000 in Madrid.
Djokovic, Alcaraz, Sinner, Zverev, those guys aren't going to play.
Guys on the double circuit, they've got to be pissed off with this.
Yeah.
Last night, the ATP put out that there's going to be a new doubles format coming to the next Masters 1000. And half of the draw is going to be made up of singles pairs, so they can get in on their singles ranking, and the other half of the draw is your normal doubles ranking points that get you into that event. We'll see what goes on with the pace of play changes that have gone on as well, but it'll be interesting to get your lads' opinions on that.
Well, I think there's 2 points of view. I think you can look at it from players' point of view, in terms of from the doubles players, and then from a commercial and a fan's perspective. In terms of the players and doubles players, I think it's...
They've got to be pissed off with this.
Yeah.
Like, they've got to be really annoyed at this. I mean, I think guys on the double circuit as well already feel like they're maybe not treated with the same level of respect as the singles guys, and they obviously want more attention to be brought onto the doubles. But they must be really thinking, well, this is actually doing everything that we're not wanting to happen. Like, there's more onus going on singles. People know that the singles players are singles players first and foremost. Yes, they'll play doubles, it's a bit more match practice, it's a little bit more tournament experience, and it's good for them to get used to the conditions. But here now, to put such an amount of ownership on the singles and have that singles ranking allow you to get into doubles, it just, for the doubles guys, they must be tearing their hair out. Because what's the backlog from it? So 16 players can get into a Masters 1000, 16 pairs of doubles pairs can get into a Masters 1000. So, in terms of Masters 1000s behind the Grand Slams, they're the best tournaments to get ranking points.
Yeah.
So from that, how does that filter down for doubles players who are trying to break through? Because this is a legitimate career. Some people don't give it the respect it deserves, but lots of people have said from very early doors, I'm dedicating myself to doubles. I'm travelling maybe upwards of 40 weeks a year to try and play doubles, because a lot of doubles players are playing week in, week out. And I just don't know how it's going to filter down, because then where's the opportunity going to come?
You can't break in.
Yeah.
Because in those 16 pairs, there's 32 doubles players.
Yes.
And they are getting the opportunity to get into every Masters event. And then the other spots are going to be filled up with singles players who don't care about their doubles ranking.
Yeah.
How does anyone break into that doubles top 32 without being in the Masters? Because you've got an extra 10 tournaments where you can win 1,000 points.
100%.
Compared to all the other doubles guys who are grinding it out and can't get anything out. It's just impossible.
And the thing is, from there, so the people who are the doubles players who are trying to push their ranking up, and the Masters 1000s, which carry a lot of weight of points, they're going to have to drop to the 250s and the 500s, some of which aren't on during that week.
Well, they're not on anyway during the Masters events.
Exactly.
So you literally they're all those doubles guys. If you're the,
like
you're in the 17th best doubles pair on the planet, and you just have to take that 2 weeks off every time there's a Masters event because you're not allowed to get into the event.
But what if it's back to back? What if it's back to back Masters that we're going to see in Rome, Madrid, and things like that?
Yeah, they've not announced if they're going to do it in other tournaments yet, but you'd imagine they wouldn't just do it for one event and get away with it unless it's got that much backlash from doubles pairs. Like if they all kick off about it,
it could have a lot of backlash. Yeah. I think so. I don't think there's a doubles player that'll be looking at this and thinking, wow, this is great.
Well, I
don't think there'll be one.
I think the top doubles players might, from the standpoint of if they are in the top 16 pairs, they're going to get more opportunity. And if it grows eyeballs and grows money and lines their buckets a little bit, they're going to look at, well, if doubles is getting bigger and I'm in that top table, then it's, from a selfish point of view, it's good for those guys who are at the top.
Yes.
But for the overall doubles game,
it can't be good.
No,
it can't be good.
One of the things that they've spoke about in this is they're trying to build like storylines and all this stuff, and it's like, but you're not building doubles storylines. You're building singles.
Yeah, the storyline they're trying to build is who wins singles versus doubles.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what they've put down, and it's like if you.
But they've almost said like they're going to be like fixing the draws as well, where like it's going to be the 16s double pairs against the 16, and it all just feels a bit forced and
it feels
you've
like
got to be there on merit. The same as anything. I don't mind if you've got 32 pairs and you've got 2 wildcard pairs, and you go, right, let's throw Alcaraz and somebody in and Djokovic and somebody in as wildcards, because you go, okay, gets more eyeballs on the game, that's good for the overall doubles and wildcards, but you've got to have a number of spots that are there on merit as well, 100%. That everyone has the opportunity to get. Why it just feels like only 16 pairs getting in, it's just so few that like there's nobody who can make a living out of playing doubles, which when as a sport as a whole of tennis, more people play doubles than singles.
That's what I was thinking about driving over. It's like everyone at our clubs that we coach at plays doubles. Like there's not that many people that will be watching the tennis that play singles, and I get this true. Obviously, like love watching singles, whatever, but I'm fairly sure the sport that you play all the time and the format that you play all the time, you'd enjoy watching if it was a watchable event.
Yeah, I think also for doubles, doubles also captures a lot of the interest of people that you coach, because of it's maybe potentially more sociable. It's also the fact that in terms of age groups, you can play doubles a little bit longer because obviously you're not covering as much court and enough ground. So I do think there's a massive market that the ATP aren't tapping into with doubles. I do think it's something that, when played well, is a fantastic spectacle to watch, and I just not sure that you can dilute it too much.
It is a fine balancing act in that, though, isn't it? Because you can see why they would do this.
Yeah.
In terms of from a commercial point of view, you're looking and going, right, if it's doubles first round of a Masters, not for the hardcore tennis, but if you're looking at it from a casual fan point of view, how many are watching the first round of a Masters doubles match is very few.
Yeah.
Whereas you put Sinner and Alcaraz as a pair playing against a doubles pair,
you're going to draw crowds.
You're going to draw crowds into the stadium, and you're going to draw TV things, which in terms of growing doubles as is that a good thing? Probably. As in, it gets more eyeballs, it grows doubles, that can only be good. But then you think, is that sacrifice of the doubles players who have put their heart and soul into it and deserve that spot, is it fair to sacrifice them to get more eyeballs in? I don't know.
I do think it's more on the ATP to like put light on the stories of the doubles players and like actually show that actually these lads are like proper like they're grinding it out, they're working every week to get and travelling all over the world. Like tell their story and show that, and people would be interested in it if it was sold properly, and then you're actually growing the doubles product rather than just trying to make it a singles versus doubles thing.
One of the things that I see as a potential downfall of this, because I think if I'm right in saying that they're trying to condense the doubles to a Tuesday to Saturday, the second week of the
second
Masters.
week,
it's a streamlined schedule.
Yeah. So with this streamlined schedule, if you've got a 32 draw, you'll be playing 5 back-to-back matches. But if you're trying to involve the best singles players, you're then going to have a situation where if you're at a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or a Thursday of a Masters 1000, let's say, second week. I mean, not all of them are played over 2 weeks, but that's going to be the latter end of the tournament. The singles players that are in that are in the doubles, who are also in the singles. I know this by a lot of playing, and even at futures levels where we're scrapping around for all the money we can get. Everybody who's in the latter stage of singles will, without doubt, prioritise singles. It is just a non-negotiable. It happens from the from the bottom of the tour right to the top.
Even before this, you see so many examples of singles guys being in the doubles, whether it's by a wild card or there's a rankings where your singles count. And they'll win the first round of doubles, whatever, realise they're in the third, fourth round of the singles and just withdraw.
100%.
All the time. Yeah. And you've got to look at the singles players who are going to be playing this. I don't understand who you actually attract, because if you're a singles player who is out of the singles, you're probably moving on to your next singles tournament to get prepared and whatever and make those adjustments. And if you're still in the latter stages of the singles when the doubles starts, how many of those top guys who you want to play, because they're the ones who are going to draw the crowds, like realistically the ATP are looking and thinking, we want those top singles guys, not the singles guys who are ranked 50 to 100, because they're not going to draw the crowd
and that's the thing
that they want anyway. Those guys aren't going to play. If you've got Djokovic, Alcaraz, Sinner, Zverev, and they're in the quarters of the singles, they're not all wanting to play 5 doubles matches in 5 days at the same time.
No,
how can that possibly work?
I mean, the thing is, sometimes you will have gap days at that point.
Yeah.
So the singles people will have gap days in terms of they might have one round on the Tuesday and then they might play next round on the Thursday. But then after that,
but you are still going to have to play. If let's say you make it to the final of a doubles, honestly, you're playing 5 doubles matches over 5 days. You're probably going to have 3 singles matches in that time period as well.
Yeah.
Like,
and also because from a singles perspective, especially on the clay, it's not out of the realms of possibility you'll be playing a 3-hour match, 2.5-hour match easily on clay. You take a 3-setter, probably standard 3-setter on clay is probably 2.5 hours. And then you're then going to go from that, and then 3 hours later you're going to be playing a doubles match.
Yeah.
That, if you're thinking, right, well, I'm in last 16 of Madrid, or I'm in last, the quarterfinals of Madrid, you're probably not going to be thinking, oh, right, I can't wait to play my second round of doubles when I've already earned myself a load of money. And the doubles weighting of them, also the prize pots of the doubles, they're nowhere near that comparative singles. So yes, they would be earning more money because they're playing an extra event, but ultimately
it's not worth it for the top guys.
they prefer to take their energy
it's not
from
worth
the
it
singles.
for the top guys that they want to be in the
those top guys are not playing any event for the money, really.
No.
They're all...
Yeah. And that's what I mean. So is it going to encourage the people who are lower down to enter those events?
It'd be interesting to know what,
because they're not going to be playing singles. Or there's a lesser chance of them playing singles.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what... I am interested to see how it works at Madrid. Yeah. I mean, I think it's unfair on the doubles players, but I mean, it does bring eyeballs to it, particularly in this first
ranking points you need.
Well, it's based on ranking,
and it'll depend on who enters.
Yeah,
they'll only say
it's like what's going to be the lowest ranked singles player that can get into.
It'll depend week by week, won't it?
Yeah.
So
there's 16 spots available, isn't it? So
yeah.
it'll be the highest ranked 16 pairs of singles players.
But what you don't want, and this may be what the doubles players would argue, is saying, well, if we've got, because the number 33 and 34 in the world in doubles, or the 17th best pair, you bet your bottom dollar they want to play Masters 1000. But actually, they'll still be there and present and wanting to play it. But how much of a drop off will there be in the singles? Because people might say, oh, well, I had a good week last week, I'm not going to enter the singles this week. So then actually, the doubles players who are the 17th best pair in the world might not get in, but you might have people that are 100 and, might be 100 in the world singles that might get in. I'm not saying people 100 singles are bad at doubles, on the contrary, they're very, very good. But you've got then a drop off, because instead of trying to attract top level singles players, you might get very, very good singles players.
It has also been... It's not like it's the first time singles players will play against doubles players. It's happened hundreds of times, thousands of times every week of the tour.
Yeah.
And it is fact that more often than not the doubles guys come out on top.
Yeah, it was an outlier that like the Kyrgios and Kokkinakis thing happened.
Yeah.
Singles guys play in these tournaments and they can have success. I've got the phenomenal tennis players. Yeah. But overall the doubles guys win those matchups.
The time that you've got in between points now being reduced from 25 to 15 if it's less than 3 shots.
I don't mind that. I think there is too much time in between points, particularly playing doubles and fast rallies where you don't need that time.
Yeah.
But I don't think many of them take that much time in the doubles.
I agree.
I'm not sure from a spectacle of watching it on TV or in the crowd you're actually going to see any difference in that.
Probably not.
The changeovers, you'll probably notice a difference though, because I think they're going to make the changeovers so that they don't sit down at change of ends
for the first set.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line.
It speeds it up slightly. I don't think it makes.
Because there's a bit of a caveat in this, isn't there? Because it's 15 seconds on rallies under 4 shots.
Yeah.
So a lot of the double stuff is I'm service partner or return partner, I'm serving or returning. It's very much like we set our pattern of play. For example, if I'm the server, I'd consult with my partner and say, right, I'm going to serve T and you move left, or I'm going to serve T, you move right. That's fairly set. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the rallies and doubles are not going to be as long as singles. And it's not going to be as intense, or it's going to be short, sharp bursts. So I don't think that that narrowing it down to 15 seconds, I think that's probably fine. That's not one of the things I've got a massive issue with it.
Yeah, I don't think the players will have a massive issue with that.
I think,
but I also don't think it'll make a massive difference to fans watching either.
No, exactly.
It might be slightly quicker in between points, but I don't think that's a reason that people are not watching doubles anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think people are putting doubles on and going, oh, it's just too much time in between points. They're just not as drawn to it as they are with singles.
Yeah,
anyway, I don't think that...
Because a lot of the time the doubles players have got a lot of good energy between them, so they'll be jogging backwards and forwards and saying, right, okay, this is what we're going to do for the next points. I don't think it's in their interest either to say, right,
I do think ways of speeding up play in general are probably a good thing.
They're a good thing, but also it's like, what do you do that's a big enough change that doesn't annoy the players?
Yeah. I think
you have got to be fair to the players and all of this as well, in terms of it's all well and good saying, right, let's get straight on to the next point. But if you've just had a 30-shot rally on a clay court, you need that time in between points so that you're ready to play the next point and the level stays where it needs to be. Otherwise, the quality falls and then it's worse anyway. So
I think if on the doubles, I think this is fine. I think on the singles, there's obviously clearly the shot clock. I think they're quite generous with when they start the shot clock.
Yeah.
So from my point of view, I think it gives a good level of accountability, but I think for the doubles, this isn't probably the issue. There's another thing, isn't there, about spectators can come and go anytime, is that right?
Yeah, it's on the website. It says there's free fan movement in the arena during play, adding convenience to the on-site experience.
Now, personally, from a tennis point of view, I don't like that. Because doubles players are like singles players. If they're throwing the ball toss up for the serve, they don't want to see, Joe Bloggs knocking his drink over and faffing about trying to get a seat, and then they're talking. And because the problem is, from that allowing free movement, you're then going to allow more noise, and then you're going to allow people. I just think that as a player and as a former player, you've got to. It's just A, it's distracting, and B, you are. In those stadiums, when you're throwing your ball toss up and all you see is people, that's your backdrop. It's not like, I'm playing at the club and I throw the ball up and it's the sky. Yeah. You see people moving around, so it just... I don't like it, and I am coming from a player's point of view. I think there has to be a level of respect there for whoever's playing, and I think the doubles players will feel actually, the ATP want us out of this. I feel like this is just another kind of nail in the coffin of, maybe we're not getting the respect we deserve.
Yeah, I don't actually know where I sit on this, to be honest. I can see why they want the fan experience at events and in a stadium to maybe be a little bit, because it is about the fans. At the end of the day, the fans are paying 100%. The wages, and you want the fans.
They make the tournament.
Yeah, and you want them to have the best possible experience. And if you think by them being able to move in and out and have a bit more freedom, that enhances the fan experience. I'm not sure it really does though, because you can go in and out at a change of ends anyway, which is only ever 2 games, or 3 games if you come in at the start. I guess the only caveat to that is because they're now not doing the sit down at change of ends for the first set.
Yeah, of course, that'll have its own effect.
Can you say that people are not allowed to go out of the stadium if they have a 50-minute first set in doubles? You're not allowed to.
Yeah, I think
leave
they've probably
there's got to be,
because of the timing thing.
It's probably slightly to do with that, and I do think the fan experience in general in stadiums and tennis, it could be a little bit better.
Yeah, I feel that from fans' point of view in tennis, they maybe don't feel as involved as they would at football or rugby or cricket. There's, I feel like if you're watching football, there's clearly an interaction between the players and the fans. Sometimes it goes overboard, of course it does. Whereas I do agree that tennis is quite sterile. It's quite a sterile environment. It's maybe a bit. There could potentially be a bit more. It could be a bit louder. It could be a bit more brash.
I think, like I say, you look at the events where the crowd are a little bit more up for it, like we mentioned off camera on the Davis Cup and things like that, or when you get a home player doing well, when you have a Murray at Wimbledon and on centre and everyone's flags out, it does enhance it as a viewing experience. And 100%. If you're in that crowd and you're involved in that, it makes it a better experience and makes you want to go
Yeah.
back. So I think having that little bit more,
It's just how you then
something,
get that for more events.
but moving in and out doesn't really
Doesn't create that.
do that. And I'm actually sure the fans in the stadium, if you've got people moving in and out and you have to stand up and out of your seat and you've got, I'm not sure it actually helps the fans who are in the stadium. Anyway, you want people to be moving around when there's no place, so you're not missing.
So you're not missing.
6-6 in a tie-break and somebody decides, actually, I'm standing up.
Yeah.
And, right, you don't want that as a fan
either.
So I'm not sure who that benefits, but I can see a lot of the reasons for a lot of these points on the doubles. I'm just not sure if it actually
Makes a
all
difference.
works.